and smarter people than these people, and they kind of use them to their will, to bend them to their will, and to do what they want. And that's a lot of what this movie kind of shows you. And
definitely,
yeah, pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have a question for me?
Yeah,
that was my question.
No. How did you feel about this? Maybe like what would you rate this?
I would say it's
level?
a solid, as far as 1 to 10.
Yeah.
I would say a 9.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a 9.
That's fair.
Well, what would you rate it?
No, it was probably the same.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd have to say the same.
I think it's very heavy hitting. It's not for. I know it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's very kind of raw and a little too real, as far as they take you deep into what that gang mentality. Yeah. Because that's what that's what racist skinheads are essentially. Is they are a form of a gang.
Yeah. They won't call themselves that though.
Of course.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. What I have another question. What is your most memorable scene?
If I had to pick one, I think because they do this kind of trick where they do all the memories in black and white.
Oh yeah.
And I always remember it's all dialogue driven, but the dinner table.
Okay.
Because the family's mom, they've already lost their dad, and she brings over one of the local teachers, kind of on a date, like she had been seeing him, probably casually or whatnot, and he's at the dinner table, and you can tell that Derek or Edward Norton's character is kind of bothered by it, but he's kind of like, I'm going to do this because I want my mom to be happy. You know what I mean? And they start getting into a heated, the dinner table discussion just gets escalated and keeps going further and further, and it ends up with Edward Norton telling the teacher, who happens to be Jewish, do you think I'm gonna I'm gonna sit around and let you come in here and try to fuck my mom?
Yeah.
Essentially, and I feel like that scene is key for the film because it shows you just how lost, and how scary it is when somebody who obviously he was an educated guy, he was a smart guy, the entire movie, how easily they can manipulate. And that's why I think brainwashing continues today, is because somebody who's so strong-willed and really believe, even if it's completely untrue, if they can talk right and spin words right,
you can twist someone's mind up.
Yeah.
Make them believe whatever you want them to believe.
Whatever you want. And that's why they say, Derek Vineyard, he was a skinhead, right? And in the beginning they say, no, he was more like the skinhead, the protege of Cameron Alexander, because he was so, intellectual that he can make you do whatever you want.
Yeah, which is crazy.
And that's what's really scary, is that these people...
They exist.
Do exist, and they are walking around as we speak.
Yeah. And I like that scene too, and especially the after this big argument breaks out and the teacher leaves, the mom comes outside to go talk to the teacher and apologize for what happened, and he says he's lost, like he's gone. That's not your son anymore. Yeah, it's just someone else now. And then he says, I'm sorry, I'm goodbye, basically ending the relationship before it really gets started. And that's that. But I mean, I really like that scene, how he says, he's gone, you can't help him anymore. Yeah, for anybody who hasn't seen this, I'm sure I would hope a lot of people have seen this, because it's a very, very important classic film, I would think. Edward Norton in the film, his character has a big swastika tattooed on his chest. And at the end of that scene, when before, I think, what's his name, Larry or something, the teacher leaves, he's walking out because he's had enough of the discussion, and Derek or Edward Norton pulls down his shirt and he says, you see this? This means not welcome. And that's always kind of sat with me, like, wow, that's a powerful scene, you know what I mean?
just the way that was written and executed. And Edward Norton, I think that year he was nominated for best performance, and rightfully so. I don't think he won, but he was. This is definitely one of his more like a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Incredible performance, from him.
Definitely.
It's your question, sir.
Well, I asked you.
Right? Right. Yeah, we are. What was your favorite scene?
Yeah.
Okay, now that we've kind of talked about things that we'd like, is there anything that you would change or anything that bothered you or overly bothered you about this picture?
No.
No? Really?
I'm trying to think. I didn't like that the brother dies.
Oh, no?
No. I mean, I understand. I kind of feel like it's kind of he's Edward Norton's character is kind of reaping, what he's sowed, and it's kind of just coming full circle to him. Basically, everything that he's done in the past is kind of basically karma coming around and taking someone from him, from all the people that he's hurt in the past. But I don't know. I didn't like that.
Yeah. I think we're not. That's the entire point, is that we're not supposed to like it.
Yeah.
Because you grow to like. You kind of like these characters because you know that they've kind of reformed and they're finally seeing to the light.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's too late.
Yeah,
or things have gotten too far.
You get to see that his little brothers, after he hears Derek's story of how it was in prison after he murdered those two guys, and how prison changed him, and how he understands, how things really are, and it's not all about like Nazi skinheads and white power and stuff like that. And you get to see a little bit of his younger brother Danny, kind of changing, and
essentially he doesn't really get a chance for us to fully see, because most of this film, it's done through memories, and it's relatively over a short amount of time. Because they of course they show like Derek in his skinhead days, and then him getting out of prison, so it kind of time jumps. But he doesn't Danny didn't really have much of a chance to really show, he wasn't able to stop, change the way he dressed or anything. So, and the beginning of the film, he gets in a little kind of tussle with these group of African American kids who later on, one could they don't really lay it out to you, but I would think that they shot him because not only did he look like a skinhead, I'm sure that those people got wind of that his brother had killed, two African American kids years prior, and I'm sure that was part of the reason why they did that. So when you see Edward Norton's character kind of crying and holding him, I feel like he feels responsible.
Yeah, like this is my fault.
Because of he's kind of showing him the way, which is it's very realistic in that that's how a lot of this stuff is it's passed down, from before, and then we find out later on, like at the end of the movie, that Derek, or Edward Norton's character, wasn't ever actually racist. He learned it from his dad, the fireman who had passed away. In this kind of another discussion where they're talking about Derek, one of Derek's teachers,
Mr. Sweeney,
who's obviously in the movie, and who gives Danny the assignment to write the paper on his brother in the beginning. It comes back full circle, and the dad doesn't like the book that he had assigned.
Yeah, because he's like, "What is this, African American History Month or something?"
Yeah, and
he's like, "No, it's just this is part of the curriculum now, because Mr. Sweeney, he's got 2 PhDs, and he really, I liked how he was you get to see how he was before he got all corrupted.
Yeah,
because he's like, I really like this guy. There's something about him. You know, he challenges me in a way that I've never been challenged before. You see that respect that he has for him. And he's like, oh man, like, yeah, you know, he had that respect, and he liked that being challenged, and he had no problem with, you know, what race his teacher was, Mr. Sweeney was.
That kind of innocence.
Yeah.
That all young kids have at first.
Yeah, and his dad breaks down. He's like, no, that's bullshit. He's just trying to, you know, brainwash you.
Mm-hmm. He's like, you got to look out for that.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah.
And then you kind of see.
And he's like, I guess it's bullshit. He's like, no, it is bullshit. You hear me? And he's like, it is bullshit.
His demeanor changes.
Yeah.
In that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how easily, you can kind of change someone's perspective if you know how to talk to them.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Yeah.
Because that's happening. Yeah.
How did you feel about the friendship that he kind of builds in prison with the laundryman? I don't even know his name.
I thought that was awesome. That's another key element.
Yeah, it's a real turning point for him.
Mm-hmm. Because when he gets taken away into prison, it kind of shows him that his whole life's purpose and the meaning behind everything that he believes is not necessarily true.
Yeah, and
there's various holes because of I guess the skinheads in prison are making deals with the African Americans and the Jewish people inside.
Yeah, like the Hispanics.
And normally they're doing like drug trafficking and stuff, but they're all they're cooperating with all these different races.
Just like he asked one of the leaders of the Nazis or whatever in jail or prison, and he's like, he's talking to that Mexican guy over there, and he's like, oh man, it's politicking.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
It's no big deal. It's politics, man. And he's like, that's how we roll around here. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, someone needs to say something to him. Mm-hmm. And she's like, hey, you better shut that shit down now. Like, that's how it goes around here. And
he slowly starts to see that nobody really believes in anything. Yeah, that it's all
survival.
Yeah, survival, and that they only believe when it's convenient. Mm-hmm. Whenever they want to do something that they think they're going to benefit from, they'll do it. They don't care. And so ultimately that leads him to his relationship with this same age African American dude, where they end up being forced to work together, and they develop an actual really close friendship. Yeah, and that's actually one of his only real friends in there through the entire thing, through his whole stint, and then he kind of shows him that they have more in common than he would have thought. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, they think the same way about women. They have all these, like, they just they have the same kind of sense of humor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they both love sports. Like, they talk about basketball and stuff, and then you can slowly see Derek's kind of perception, like, like
he's a cool dude. Mm-hmm. Like, even if he is, it's not some gang member guy, or whatever. He's a normal person. And
what's the big thing towards the end of, right before he gets out of prison, is that he ends up getting raped by his homeboys.
Yeah, by the Nazis in prison.
Yes, by the guys who are supposed to have his back. Mm-hmm. They rape him, and they expected him to still sit with them. Yeah. during
mealtime or whatever.
Uh-huh. And he's like, fuck that. Yeah, he sits alone. Yeah. And he goes back to his buddy, his friend, and he's like, those guys were protecting you, and now the
idiot, like, that's the only protection you had.
Yeah, and now all
the brothers, now they're gunning for you. You don't got protection now.
They're gonna come for you. Yeah. And what happens is, they don't tell you this directly, but his buddy goes and says, "Hey, this guy's cool. You know, like he's leave him alone." Pretty much.
Yeah.
He puts his neck out, and that's why once he gets out of prison, he's like, you know, like we really are the same.
Yeah.
You know